Dementia does not usually arrive in one dramatic moment. It often arrives slowly, a stove left on, a question repeated again and again, and then one day something happens that makes the family stop and think, can mom or dad still be safe at home? That moment can be frightening. As dementia progresses, care decisions often become less about the amount of help someone needs and more about finding the setting that can provide the right balance of safety, comfort, familiarity, and quality of life over time. For many families, the answer may still be home, especially when the right support is in place. But there are also situations where a secure setting truly is the better choice. In this video, I want to talk you through both sides honestly. We'll talk about what the quality in-home dementia support should include and how to know when home may no longer be the safest option. I'm Gibson-Walters, certified professional consultant on aging and founder of Harmony Caregiving here in Edmonton. At Harmony, we work with families who are trying to make some of the most difficult care decisions of their lives. And dementia care is one of the areas where families often need the most clarity, the most honesty, and the most support. First, it helps to understand why dementia is different from many other age-related conditions. With many physical health conditions, care becomes more predictable once you understand how much help a person needs. If someone requires assistance with mobility, personal care, or managing a medical condition, those needs are often relatively consistent and easier to plan around. With dementia, the question reaches further. It still includes daily support, but it also includes whether the person is safe, whether they can make decisions, and how their needs may change over time. Someone may seem calm and settled at 2 o'clock in the afternoon, then become confused or frightened at 2 o'clock in the morning. What works today may not work a year from now. So any care plan for dementia needs to be flexible. It has to adapt as the disease progresses. And this is the part that changes the housing decision. When families are planning for normal aging, they are often planning for a changing body. But when they are planning for dementia, they are planning for a changing brain. That distinction matters. A parent may still be physically strong, but no longer safe to make decisions alone. Or they may be able to do familiar tasks some days, but not reliably every day. That uncertainty is what makes dementia care so complex. Families are not planning for what is happening right now. They are planning for what might happen next. Many families eventually consider supportive living, memory care, or long-term care. And often it is not because of the diagnosis alone. It is because the care has become more than the family can sustain. The supervision becomes constant. The nights become unpredictable, and the worry never really turns off. For many families, that level of care becomes too much emotionally, physically, financially, or all three. But when a family has the ability to bring strong professional support into the home, the conversation changes. The focus turns to finding the setting that can provide the greatest safety, comfort, familiarity, and dignity. So what does excellent dementia care at home actually look like? It begins with more than having someone drop in for a few hours. Strong dementia home care is a partnership. It is a coordinated approach that grows with the needs of the person receiving care and the family needing respite and support. And it starts with consistency. For someone living with memory loss, familiar faces matter. A revolving door of strangers can feel confusing or unsettling. A consistent care team helps build trust because they come to know the person deeply. They learn the rhythm of the day, the moments that feel calming, and the situations that may lead to distress. These details may seem small, but in dementia care, they can make a major difference. Knowing how someone likes their tea, what music they enjoy, or what time of day they become more restless can help prevent distress before it escalates. Excellent dementia care also needs oversight. A strong care plan should be guided and adjusted as needs change. That may include nursing oversight, medication support, caregiver supervision, and regular communication with the family. The home environment matters too. Small changes can make daily life safer, from reducing hazards to creating clearer pathways and more supportive routines. The right equipment can also help when it is needed. A home can be made safer without making it feel clinical or cold. The goal is not to turn the home into a hospital. The goal is to shape the home around the person's needs while preserving as much comfort and familiarity as possible. A home someone has lived in for decades carries memory in its walls. The spaces, routines, and surroundings feel instinctively familiar, providing reassurance and stability even when other parts of life become more confusing. That sense of grounding is difficult to recreate anywhere else. Dementia care also has to account for the hard hours. Many families are surprised by how much can change later in the day or overnight. Some people living with dementia become more restless, confused, or anxious in the late afternoon or evening. This is called sundowning. Others may wake during the night, wander, or need reassurance when the rest of the household is asleep. This is where planning matters. If a family is relying on hope, they are carrying a lot of risk. But with the right care plan, those harder hours can be anticipated. Overnight support, awake staff when needed, and clear routines can make home much safer. Full support at home can also give the family something incredibly important. Relief caregiving can alter a relationship over time. When the days become centered around tasks, the relationships can slowly start to feel defined by care instead of connection. With strong support in place, families often get some of that relationship back. A spouse can spend time as a spouse again. A daughter or son can visit without every moment being about managing care. That is one of the real gifts of strong home care. It supports the person living with dementia, but it also protects the family around them. So how far can home care really go? Often further than families realize. With a properly set up home and a strong 24-hour care team, many needs can be managed at home. That can include overnight wandering, complex routines, higher supervision needs, and meaningful decline over time. In some situations, even care that requires two people can be planned for at home. The advantage is that the person remains in familiar surroundings. And instead of sharing attention across a full unit, the care can be centered around one person. For many families, that familiarity is not a small thing. It is the whole reason they want to explore home care in the first place. Now, I want to be very clear. Home is not always the right answer. Even when a family has the resources to arrange significant support, there are situations where a purpose-built care setting is genuinely better. And any provider who is honest with families should be willing to say that. Sometimes the home itself cannot be made safe enough. If someone is exit-seeking, highly distressed, or unsafe in ways that cannot be managed in that particular environment, the building may become part of the problem. Sometimes the person is actually happier with the rhythm and structure of a community setting. Social connection matters in dementia care. Some people do better with group activities, shared meals, and a predictable community environment. And sometimes medical needs become too complex or unstable for private home care to safely manage on its own. In those cases, a setting with on-site nursing and a high level of clinical support may be the better choice. For dementia specifically, families may hear terms like secure supportive living, memory care, or Type B secure space. The language can change and it can be confusing, but the basic idea is this. These settings are designed for people who need a secure, structured, dementia-informed environment. They may include secure spaces, 24-hour support from healthcare aides, and nursing support as needed. So for the right person at the right stage, this is not a lesser choice. It can be the better choice. Choosing a secure care setting does not mean a family has given up. It may mean the care needs have changed and the setting needs to change with them. Another advantage of private home care is timing. Public care systems often involve assessments, eligibility, available spaces, and wait lists. And when someone is leaving hospital, families may not always have the level of choice they hoped for. Home care can often be arranged more quickly. Instead of waiting for the right space to open, a family can begin building support in the home. That does not mean families should ignore public options. A public assessment can still be useful even for families who are also arranging private care. There may be covered hours or guidance available, but private care can give families a little more control over timing, care structure, and who is coming into the home. So where do you begin? I would suggest 2 tracks. First, get a clear clinical picture. Families in Edmonton can contact the Community Care Access Line at 780-496-1300 to ask about assessment options. Second, speak with an in-home care provider that understands dementia care. Ask what kind of care they provide. Ask about consistency. Ask about supervision, home safety, and how the team would respond as needs change. One thing that helps both conversations is writing down what is actually happening. Wandering, nighttime confusion, missed medications, unsafe cooking, falls, personality changes, times when your parent was not safe alone. These details, they help the professionals understand the real level of risk and support needed. Dementia is a long road, and the destination keeps moving. The goal is not to predict every turn. The goal is to continue asking, what support is needed now? What support may be needed next? And where can this person continue to experience the greatest dignity, comfort, safety, and quality of life? Sometimes that answer is home, and sometimes it is a specialized dementia community. What matters is making the decision with information, support, and compassion. Because underneath every care decision is a family doing the best they can with the information, support, and resources they have at the time. At Harmony Caregiving, this is the work we do every day here. We help families understand what may be possible at home. We help build care around the person, not simply the diagnosis. And we are also honest when another setting may provide a better fit for a person's needs. If your family is trying to decide whether a parent living with dementia can remain at home, you do not have to figure it out alone. We invite you to reach out to Harmony Caregiving for a conversation. Together we can talk through what is happening, what support may be needed, and what options may make sense for this stage of the journey. If today's episode brought someone to mind, please share it with them. Until next time, notice what is changing, honor what your heart is carrying, and remember that none of us were meant to do life alone. Carpe diem, seize the day.